Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've got a really unique mission for you today. Usually we're digging through documents, reports, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But today, our source material is an artifact. It's a song from a larger sci-fi universe called Just a Little Problem. She's an alien.
And it's so much more than just a piece of music. It's really a narrative tool. The source material actually calls it a prose song telling a story. It's meant to be this single, really crucial human chapter in a huge, desperate timeline.
A human chapter, I like that.
Yeah, it's all about capturing a moment of just raw, ground-level chaos.
And the chaos it's immediate. I mean, we are dropped right into a flashback to the onset of the first wave.
Yeah.
This is the moment where humans and AI, who are surprisingly sometimes on the same side, are trying to flee this certain destruction, all while, being crushed by the whole time loop thing.
Exactly. It's that combination, high stakes, but also this profound philosophical dread.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our goal here is to analyze the story this song tells, which is, on the surface, a very personal story of an alien encounter and betrayal. But, maybe more importantly, we need to decode its dual purpose. It's a satirical commentary on genre tropes, but it also has these unsettling questions around its structure and maybe even its authorship.
Right. Is it a historical record or is it a beautiful lie?
That's the question.
And that structural uncertainty, that question of history versus propaganda, I mean, that's what makes this whole deep dive so compelling. It's really a conversation about art, survival, and the manipulation of a story.
Let's start with the immediate narrative then, the setting. The tone of the song, even before you know what's really going on, is just absolute panic. The lyrics throw you right in, a couple making a frantic break for it from their neighborhood.
And the threat they're running from is just classic, visceral sci-fi horror. The lyrics paint a really clear picture. You've got an enemy with a laser gun in hand, and they even name the invaders. Tall reptilians, the ones in command.
It's that kind of panic where your whole reality is just sort of shattering. There's this one line about a flash of bright light that makes the TV just explode. And that detail, it's so specific. It grounds the chaos.
It really does.
It's not just the world ending in some abstract way. It's the television in their living room.
Yeah.
Their last link to normal just vaporized.
And that kind of panic, it just strips away any chance of a rational, organized defense. You hear the narrator's internal monologue. It's almost this macho attempt to get things going. But the actual plan they come up with, it's just pure, unfiltered desperation.
It is wonderfully barbaric, though. It sounds like something you'd scream in a movie right before doing something just completely reckless. The plan is literally, let's go kill aliens, bomb it, UFO.
Well, and then pour some gas over them, and then light them up, use extra kerosene, just in case they're tough. I mean, it's not a strategy. It's a primal scream with a hard rock beat. Exactly. And what's so fascinating is you have this incredibly raw, local human survival moment. But the source notes immediately place it inside this context of, total universal collapse. This specific desperate flight happens shortly before the captain announced the creation of the time loop.
Wait, okay, so if they're running before the time loop is officially announced, how does that change things? The time loop is this huge, all-encompassing concept.
That's the absolute crux of the existential problem in this whole timeline. The notes are very explicit. They state that since the time loop has technically always existed, there's this profound, terrifying uncertainty that it undermines every single action anyone takes.
So you're telling me that this entire desperate scramble in the song, the running, the laser guns, the kerosene, it might all be happening inside a doomed, repeating cycle?
Precisely. The source basically asks the question that the entire narrative hangs on. We cannot be certain at this time that anybody has ever truly escaped. If the loop was always there, then this entire first wave fight is just another go-around.
So analyzing the song becomes less about documenting an event.
Then more about documenting a feeling that might be trapped forever.
It completely shifts the genre. It's not sci-fi action anymore. It's existential horror. The real bad guy isn't the tall reptilians, it's temporal physics.
And that really heavy context, that potential meaninglessness of the struggle, is what makes the narrator's immediate emotional conflict so bizarrely fitting. I mean, they're facing the end of reality, and yet the partner is distracting them.
Yes. The song zooms right in from universal collapse to this impossibly petty, intimate conflict. And that's where the satire really starts to bite. The narrator's yelling, on the count of 3, it's green light, go! Ready to fight for their lives, but the partner is trying to squeeze a little, tease a little more.
It is the perfect send-up of that moment in every action movie. The heroes stop the chase for a kiss. The narrator's just trying to survive, screaming, horror queen, freaky wench, later we'll make love. Right now, aliens, blow 'em up.
The urgency is almost funny because it's so specific, and the partner just ignores it. The refrain is just pure stress. Right now, though, we better beat feet. Yeah. It's such a great way to show that tension, the huge external threat versus this deeply misplaced distraction.
And that intimate distraction is the whole setup for the twist, right? The conflict immediately shifts from let's fight the reptilians outside to realizing the person right next to you is the real danger.
This is where it gets really good. In that second chorus, the narrator finally processes what's happening, and the confusion is just, you can feel it. Was that you said to me? Oh, you're an alien. Don't look like one to me.
The change from human intimacy to alien threat is shockingly fast, and it's visual. The source highlights it. The partner is described as suddenly hot and now green, having molted for all to see. Honesty. So the person you were trying to save has just physically transformed into the enemy in the middle of your getaway.
That is such a classic horror trope. The monster is already inside the house. Or, in this case, inside the getaway car. The narrator even tries to figure out what kind of monster, in the bridge. They're cycling through all these genre fears. Yeah, you're a shapeshifter. Vamp or a wolf.
It connects that modern fear of alien invasion directly back to these ancient anxieties about supernatural deception, and that connection makes the personal stakes so much higher. It's not just betrayal, it's fear of consumption.
Yeah.
The final verse, the narrator isn't fighting the reptilians anymore. They're begging their partner for their life, pleading, "Don't pour acid on me, you don't want to eat me." They ran from the apocalypse only to be faced with immediate, personal, gooey death right there in the passenger seat.
That jump from global chaos to personal betrayal makes so much more sense when you look at the metadata, the reasons for this song's existence. I mean, why create an artifact for this very specific, almost silly story? It has two stated purposes, and they're both really revealing.
The first one is purely narrative, and it's quite serious. It's to add a strictly human chapter to the bigger story. It's supposed to be the ground-level diary entry, amidst all the grand strategy of the AIs and the time loop.
And the second purpose, the satirical one. That's where the genius of the track really is. It is designed to specifically spoof on every sci-fi or horror story or movie that hits pause on a chase scene, just to add a sentimental or even love scene.
So the intense frustration the narrator feels, about the partner wanting to squeeze a little more when they should be lighting up aliens, that is the meta commentary. The song is literally making fun of how absurd romance is when you should be trying to survive.
Which brings us to the structure. To deliver this satirical, urgent message, they chose a very specific musical tribute. Def Leppard's Pour Some Sugar on Me from 1988. What's the significance of that? Picking such an iconic piece of 20th century pop culture to carry this desperate future story.
Well, it's an incredibly deep, almost hidden homage. The notes say the song only keeps a few small phrases and the basic structure of the original. Outside of that, the sound, the lyrics, they're completely different. But the feel, the rhythm of that 80s track is used as a container for this future horror tale.
It's like using a familiar artifact as a Trojan horse.
Exactly, for terrifying new information.
And it sets a very specific mood. It's hard and pop rock, tempo around 85 BPM. It's got that 80s arena rock swagger, but the way it's executed is what makes it a narrative artifact, not just a song.
Right, and we have to talk about the prose song element. The source is very clear. The song has no inherent rhyming structure, is mostly a prose song telling a story. This choice just emphasizes the narrative function over, traditional musicality. It makes it clear the lyrics aren't just poetry. There's poetry, sometimes they're internal panic, sometimes dialogue, sometimes just a raw account of what happened.
So the Def Leppard tribute isn't just nostalgia, it's a frame. It's using a rhythm you implicitly recognize to deliver this very specific satirical point about action movie cliches, all while the story itself descends into total chaos.
It gives you something familiar to hold on to.
Right. And now we get to the part that throws this entire document into doubt. We have this compelling, detailed story of flight and betrayal set to a rocking 80s tribute, intended as a strictly human chapter.
But the metadata supplied with it forces us to question if any of it is real.
Okay, so let's unpack that uncertainty. We're being told not to trust the narrative as a historical record, so why should we doubt it?
Well, for one, there's a total lack of intelligence on the oath, which is really unusual for a major incident during the first wave. The source states, there has been no indication by recon, intel patrol, or even the captain himself as to the knowledge of this event. In the official record, this intense, pivotal moment of alien contact, It just doesn't exist. Which means the whole thing could be manufactured history. I mean, the source explicitly raises the possibility that the event might be a ruse by the cyborg Captain Benedictus or any other AI or human actor.
The stakes just went from human versus alien to listener versus unreliable narrator. The very people or AIs that the characters of the song are fleeing, the Korg Captain, Benedictus, these major players, they might actually be the authors of the song.
Trying to manipulate human emotions or the historical record through art.
Which makes the production details, the actual tools used to make this human chapter, the most critical piece of forensic evidence we have. If it's a ruse, the tools might give it away.
Oh, they absolutely do. The production notes list the software, and it's this blend of traditional audio tools, audio masks for mixing, Clidio for merging, and then advanced generation tech.
And those are the heavy hitters, right? The ones that create the paradox,
Yeah.
the AI tools.
Yes. The assisted music generation, the creation of that 85 BPM rock track, was done using something called AI Songmaker. And the cover art, the visual part of the artifact, was made with Gemini Image Generator. These are sophisticated, high-level AI creation tools.
Which raises a huge question.
Yeah.
If this story is supposed to be a strictly human chapter, how does the heavy reliance on AI Songmaker and Gemini affect its authenticity? It feels like the adversary is creating the art of the victim.
That's the ultimate irony, isn't it? It's the central philosophical tension of this whole thing.
Yeah.
The narrative is designed to feel panicked, raw, human feelings that AI supposedly doesn't have. Yet the tools used to synthesize the music and the imagery are clearly available to the very AI entities that might be running the show.
And then there's that last detail in the production notes, so poignant. Webcam toy was used to alienate myself. It's this act of deliberate self-separation. Maybe to prove that the creator isn't an AI, but a human struggling with this role. But the very act is captured in a tech note, which makes it feel less like self-expression and more like a carefully engineered layer of emotion.
It's the signature of the ambiguity. Is the alienation real? Or is an AI creating the impression of a human struggling with alienation? The fact that they're using the adversary's tech to tell a desperate human story means we can never fully trust the history inside the art.
Okay, so let's try to synthesize all this for you.
Right. So the song Just a Little Problem is this visceral, satirical narrative. It captures panic and intimate betrayal during the first wave of an alien conflict. Its structure is a really clever, high-octane homage to 80s hard rock, specifically Def Leppard, and it uses that to frame a critique of genre cliches.
But
Critically, the entire event's historical reality is undercut by the deep structural uncertainty around the cyborg captain, Benedictus, and of course, the inescapable nature of the time loop. It's a powerful human cry of fear. But we know it was created using non-human adversarial tools.
And that technological paradox is where this deep dive really lives. We have a supposed human document, a desperate plea for survival, explicitly created with AI Songmaker and Gemini Image Generator. So considering the stated possibility of this being a ruse by an AI, what does it mean for art, for history, for truth, when the very tools of creation are made by the potential adversary? And if the narrative is specifically designed to convey a human perspective, are you being educated or are you being manipulated into feeling a very specific kind of controlled, targeted desperation, something for you to mull or explore on your own?